Welcome to All Things Flamingo podcast with the Flamingo Group and myself, Beth Reilly. Join us as we discuss all things to do with our community, real estate, and all things Flamingo. Welcome and tune in for a flocking good time. Well, hello. Hi, Luqman Abdi. Thank you so much for coming onto our podcast today and talking about your interest in being in the 4th District for
Thanks.
the City Council.
Thank you so much, Beth, for having me and the Flamingo team. I appreciate it. I'm happy to be here.
Yeah, I wish we've met in person. We have not. We've only met electronically. And of course, I saw your signs.
That's good. At least I'm getting visibility. That's good. I owe you a cup of coffee next time you're up in my neighborhood. All right.
Thank you. I'd love it. I'm there a lot. I go to Cedar Valley, right?
Cedar Valley, George. Yep, I know exactly where that is. Yep. On 86. Yeah.
What was interesting when you and I spoke is you spoke very much about really the culture of each of the parts of Bloomington. And I think that the Mall of America and your whole district is really important, not only economically to Bloomington, but also what are some of the key things that need to be brought to light that we discussed that I thought was interesting.
Yeah, the biggest one, I think, like I said, was the opioid, the overdoses and how easy it is for people to be able to get those drugs on the street. I know thanks to Bloomington Police Department, they increased presence around the light rail, and they do patrolling on the light rail and around the Mall of America and those hot spots. But there still needs to be more from the community side of things. So I think we need to step up and kind of be, like I said, proactive. Instead of nowadays it's being reactive where someone gets to overdose and they need to get the Narcan to be able to get revived. So we need to at least do something to prevent that. Especially for the youth, because that drug, the fentanyl now is laced to many other drugs like all the marijuana and certain other drugs that are around have traces of fentanyl. So. And the legalization of things kind of makes it more difficult and more challenging. So we definitely need to step up on the community side of things for sure.
Well, I think it's also interesting just that you talk about the light rail, Mall of America, and of course all the hotel rooms that are all right there next to Mall of America. It has its own dangers and its own attraction.
Yep. So it attracts people from all over the world, and it attracts some people not up to good, So, but yeah, I would like to really thank the police department because I had the opportunity to join their citizens police department, community citizen program that they have, and really see the work they're doing and all the different departments and how there's so many different moving parts, and they're continuously trying to be better and also take in what as residents our perspective of things and see if we can work to make the city we live in a city that all the cities around, not just in the metro but in the United States, to be able to say, hey, I want to be like Bloomington. I want to be like we want to do the same thing they're kind of doing.
Mm-hmm. And I think that community involvement is absolutely key. Absolutely.
100%.
Yeah, I mean, that's how it rolls. We've always looked at especially with East Bloomington and that area. I kind of jump up and down a lot because I see that area, especially right next to Mall of America, as a food desert. I mean, there's a lot of food insecurity in that area. They're not developing it because I think that they think everybody's just going to go to the Mall of America to go to restaurants and to go to coffee shops and all that. No, we're not. We're going to go to the coffee shop on the street, like on Cedar Avenue or something like that.
Or go to the ones, but most people who live in the area, like I can if I want to run, I can run over to the mall and be there in a jiffy. But as a local people, we know how the mall is. Like it's if you have to go there, you will go there. But as residents, like I said, it attracts to so much.
Right.
There's just so much going on over there. Like it's mind blowing, especially the behind the scenes operations for sure.
Now, when we spoke earlier, also you went to, where'd you go for elementary school? Right next to, we were talking. I'm pulling.
Middle school, Valley View. Yep,
Mhm.
I went to Valley View for middle school. Yeah,
And then Kennedy for high school, right?
Flamingo Group for high school. Yep,
So this is your hometown.
it's my hometown. It's hometown, and lots have changed. It's when I see and I talk to the youth I run into that I volunteer and I help to find internships and find jobs for them to better themselves. They tell me the challenges they see, and they have friends who passed away at a young age from overdoses. It's when I was growing up, like I mean, it's kind of like unheard of if someone passes away tragically, from a drug, in a snap of fingers. So, they have a big, I would say, challenge and more difficulties and stuff that me growing up, I think they have a more difficult time when I compare the two, to compare and contrast.
Right. Everything's, lots changed even the last 10 years.
Yeah, big time. Yeah,
Everything.
everything you can imagine.
Beyond the fact that COVID put a whole nother twist on that.
Yep.
So, yeah, I agree. No, your mom, she works as an interpreter for seniors. Is that correct?
She worked many years as an interpreter for different hospitals in the metro, but now she works hand in hand with the seniors at Havenwood, out of Richfield.
Yeah.
Yep. So she works over there as she works and she does direct support with them.
So she does interpreting Somali.
She was doing interpreting some in the past, English to Somali.
Okay. And Mohammed?
Mahmoud, my father, yes, he's
Yes.
he spent most of his time working in the restaurants. He had certain restaurants in the city. The restaurant was Hoofen Restaurant, and he passed the torch over to my uncle, and he works kind of full time with nonprofits, and sometimes he works with one of my uncles, Abdurrahman Mukhtar, who's been inspired. He inspired me to kind of help the youth and kind of give him back. So he's like, this is the
Yeah.
time I have to give back to the community. So
Sounds like that's your family legacy, is to give back
to
and to
give
be
back.
involved.
Exactly, and it started from my grandfather. Where there was famines in East Africa, he had a restaurant, and when the famine happened, like he just took the people and he said, "Hey, just feed them, especially the kids who have no parents. The orphans."
Hmm.
So it's kind of been passed down from generation to generation. So I'm gonna have to keep that torch going.
Yeah, you got pressure on you there. That's for sure.
A lot, yeah, a lot.
When you started, you did talk to me about the library. Could you tell me a little more of how the library has influenced you growing up, and how it was kind of your community for a while?
Yeah, Oxborough Library. I know they did a remodel a few years ago. That changed also. One of those things that change over the years.
Mhm.
But the library has always been a place. Once I used to leave, because Valley View Elementary School used to be across the street. It is across the street from Oxborough Library.
Right.
So after I leave school, that's the first place I go. I just go there to finish my homework, and that's one checkbox off the list. And the next is to connect with the librarians. They made the library an environment where you wanted to be there. I wanted to be there. Like when I left school, I didn't want to go home. I didn't want to go there. I didn't want to go anywhere. I just wanted to go straight to the library, finish my homework, connect with the librarians, learn something new, read
Yeah.
books, play board games, and I used to clock out with them when the library closed, and they were like, "Yeah, you're gonna clock out with me." I'm like, "Yeah, I'm gonna clock out. I'm gonna walk you to your car."
Well, they knew you by name, and probably your friends too, right?
Yeah, we do them really well. And one librarian, she retired. Her name was Pearl. Her name is Pearl, and she's retired now. But I still keep in touch with her today. I call her and she calls
Right.
me, and we go to. She's not a fan of a Caribou. She's a big fan of Caribou coffee. So we go to the one over there on Penn Avenue and American Boulevard.
Yep, I know where it is.
Yeah, we
Right
go
next
there all the time. So it's something where I think that's something I want to work hard and make that kind of environment where the younger generation feel like they can open up, they can learn, they can grow, and they can feel at home when they leave. When
Hmm.
they finish their classes, they can come, they can do their homework. So that's what I don't really see much. I seen the city has they did a few internships, but we need more. There's a lot of kids, there's a lot of youth, and we need more of that for sure. That kind of space for them.
Nice. Who is your inspiration? If you could say his name, that would be helpful. Abdi.
Abdurrahman,
Yep. Mukhtar.
Abdurrahman. Yeah, he works directly with the youth who live in the Cedar Riverside area, the East Bank
Yeah.
area, kind of the U of M campus area. And every Friday, what he does is he gets food and he gets tea, he gets water, and he gets the youth together, and also some students who are studying at the University of Minnesota, so they can also learn and also do their studies and stuff, to help the younger generation that are having the addiction problem and homelessness. So the opioid addiction and homelessness nowadays goes hand in hand. So he tirelessly works to help them and puts them in touch with treatment centers. And I had the opportunity to go there a few times and give him a hand and kind of see how things are done. So he's the one who also pushed me to always be not only the better version of myself, but to be a resource to as much people in my environment as possible.
I agree. I think it's interesting because don't you also door knock? I mean, you go and talk to people no matter where, right?
Yep. I door knock
Just
everywhere. Yeah,
up in there. Okay. I think it's been interesting watching how everybody's doing their campaigns. And I have to say, knocking on doors, being in the public, going for coffee with people, FaceTime, FaceTime, FaceTime. They're not going to get to know you just I mean, you and I have met electronically, but we've actually had conversations, right? And
yeah,
I've noticed you've been really fantastic at reaching out, not only just in your community efforts in Bloomington, like with the police department, da 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 da, but you don't shy away from hearing what people have to say.
yeah. That's always a number one. Yeah, and I have a quick story I want to tell you about that. There's a senior home kind of in the East Bloomington area. I was kind of canvassing and doing some door knocking, and I ran into an older lady, an older generation. I think she's in her mid 70s, and she told me that I told her what I was fighting for and things I was advocating for, and I told her a few stories, and she said, as a senior, she said our vote really doesn't. When I ask around, like, it doesn't feel like it really matters. And that really touched me because I said your voice really matters, the experiences and everything you learned in the past matters, and having the opportunity to talk to you and hear from you and learn from you and you smile also matter. Everything about you matters. So I was, like I said, the seniors have a lot of priceless knowledge and keys that we can only imagine that they have. And it broke my heart when she said that, like saying like, hey, we've been there, we've done that, and our voice really, our vote doesn't matter. So I was like, it
Hmm.
hurts, to hear that. But I said, you matter, and you matter to me. And I told her, I
Hmm.
said, here's my number. If you need anything, like if you need a gallon of milk, someone to run an errand for you, I said, you can call me. I'll be more than happy to be there and help you out. So
Nice. I think also the other thing again, as we're talking, is what I'm also hearing is servitude, being a public servant more than being the guy. I don't know what it is. Almost stardom, like political stardom, is
yeah,
what I get sometimes from people. So I'm impressed with that. I appreciate it. Please don't change it. I think that that's a key to being, getting making people feel like what they think and what they're voting for is important.
it matters. Yeah, and I mean, regardless, on if I hopefully if I win it or if I not, I want to keep the momentum going, and keep the connection and the foundation that I'm building with the community. I want to just keep on stacking on top of that.
Hmm. You're dedicated to, okay. Well, I guess why I love Bloomington and its people. So if you could tell me a little bit where this came from and why. I guess you can read it out loud just because it's part. I think this is from your website.
Yeah, so I said, you see, Bloomington isn't a place where I live, it's a home in truest sense. It's a place where my neighbors aren't just people residing next door, they're friends, they're family, where local businesses aren't just establishments. I visit lifelines of our community, places where memories are made and futures are built. Yeah, I think this comes from just connecting with local companies, where it's my tire guy who fixes my tires off of 86th and Pillsbury, or
Yeah.
if I need to go and I need to get my brakes done, I go to Old Cedar and 90, that neighborhood. That's where my mechanic is. So it's something we're telling people, like Bloomington is, we're just one big family. Like, and if we can connect in this sense, we can achieve so much more. Like together, we achieve more
Yeah.
as a team.
Exactly. Always.
Yeah.
And then we talked a little bit about affordable housing for all. You're working to have residents build their credit history. Again, I think that you're definitely responding to the needs of the area of your part of town. And are you doing webinars? What are you doing to help them build their credit history?
So what I do is, when I send my team to go door knocking, and we ask people what's their biggest challenges, and they say, hey, we wanna buy a house, and we've been having issues buying houses. Um, that my team, they connect me to that person, and we try to find out the reason why they're struggling, what's the problem. And most cases, it's their credit history is low. Most frequent one is they get a phone from T-Mobile or AT&T, and they kind of don't want to pay the phone off, or they get stuck in that little collection, and it hits their credit hard, and they're paying the price several years later.
Yeah.
So I was fortunate enough to have knowledge on how the credit system works, and help fix my siblings' credits. And I see that they did similar things, and I give them a path on, okay, this is what you have to do. This is how you'll be able to build your credit. You have to pay off your debt. Pay for deletion. Kind of the little tips and tricks on how their credit and their and at the same time their employment history, and making sure that that's solid. That's another solid one people kind of overlook. Those prerequisites are what kind of knock people out from buying homes.
Yes, it does.
And when it hits them, they're just not motivated. I'm gonna just stick to renting at this place. But in some cases, their mortgage is around the same price of how much they're renting for that house. They could have been already started
Yep.
paying for their home. So just those little ideas and stuff, and I have my team and my friends connect me, with people kind of all over, not just in Bloomington, but kind of all over, calling me or texting me with, like, okay, what should we do? What's the best way to do it? And I was fortunate enough to build a handful of those people's credits. They're able to build it, and they're like, okay, I jumped from 500 to 680 now. Like, I'm
Right.
almost at 700. Like, I'm almost there. One guy told me that, I think on Friday, he was like, I'm almost there. I said, you owe the 500, just pay the $500, man. Don't worry. Just go ahead and pay the money, get it deleted. I guarantee you, he's gonna jump at least 50 more points. So
Okay. Well, if you ever need help with that, I truly believe in that, and I do believe in, of course, real estate is the pathway to wealth, individual wealth in the United States. I can't say what it's like anywhere else in the world, but that is where you are able to maintain wealth and hold it over time. So if you ever want that, or if you want to do it, we could do something like this, where we could also do a podcast to help people with some of the common problems
yeah, I
of
think
credit
that's essential.
scoring.
And it's a dream of ours. I can imagine how you feel if you bought your first house, and the feeling that you get from it, or um, it's a dream of all of ours.
Yeah, it's the American dream.
Yeah, I can
Absolutely.
imagine. It's our dream. It's our shared dream. So
And it's just a matter of really, it's a process. It's everything you just said. And you kind of gamify it by getting your credit score up. And how do you do that? And what games do you play to do this, to do that, to get it? And it seems super overwhelming at first. But like you said, is that you kind of play like, I need 50 more points. I need 20 more points. I
um,
get Yeah, it's a lot of fun after that, and then you got to maintain it.
Exactly. Yeah, and then just kind of be more responsible. Just be okay. I got this. What it is I have to pay. Just do it, and then it's step by step. And
Yep.
knocking the prerequisites out, and that's how home buying is. You got to just knock these little prerequisites out, and then the sky's the limit afterwards. So.
Right. And if you don't focus on making money, or you know what I'm saying, it's not all about the money, but if you're not focusing on it, things blow up on you. So you have to focus on it and pursue it. Yeah, it's kind of like, otherwise, if you just eat whatever you want, whenever you want, you're going to get fat.
Exactly. It's simple. Without
Right?
you have no game plan, you're going to be lost. That's
Yeah,
true.
exactly. Well, good. I'd love to be a part of that with you.
All right, that sounds good. I think that'd be a good opportunity. Very good.
Now you've worked with the police department, and you're looking at reducing crime rates. I don't know much about the crime rates in Bloomington per se. I look at the app, and I tell people when I'm buying houses with them that that's their responsibility. I don't look things up or pursue it in any way. And I can't, because that's part of my licensing.
Yeah.
Could you tell me a little bit about reducing crime rates, and what's your plan on that?
Yeah. The way I started was all the youth that I work with and the younger generation that I see, I kind of tell them, when I work with the police department, I was able to see from their perspective, okay, when they pull someone over, okay, what they look for, or how important it is to make sure the person's record, and how to protect it and keep it clean, and the suspicious stuff and all these little things that I learned from the police department and the way they do their job. I take that knowledge and I talk with the younger generation. I tell them, hey, listen, the police are here to help us out, and just taking the car and just driving fast, and I know I was young. When someone's young, how the youngsters, I know exactly the way they think. So I'm like, I know where you think, I know you feel like you're on top of the world, but you got to just slow it down. And I show them the perspective of the police department, and how, okay, you have to be safe and you have to be careful, and talking with respect. I think that's something that I think that's most people don't talk to when they talk with the police. They have to talk with them with respect, and give the respect, and then they give the respect back to you. It's a give and take.
Right.
So that's the way I started, and at the same time, I've just been keeping myself kind of keep an eye open on the news and seeing what's kind of hot. I know there's a lot of things that are going on, like I said, on the light rail, and suspicious people who are overdosed that they caught, or suspicious, and kind of all around the mall. People kind of have certain things, certain drugs and things that they have, and they get arrested and stuff. So kind of just working so we can get more officers in that area, because I know they have a small police department in the mall. I think
Right.
they need more, because it's just the volume of the mall is just high. It's high volume.
Well, even the parking lots. Holy cow.
Yeah,
They're
those multiple 8 floors. Yeah,
crazy.
crazy.
I
And all
think,
those hotels too. So they need people over there too. So I think they need more people over there to help. For
well,
sure.
it's conducive to the sex trade. I mean, it just is, because of the nature of, first of all, the light rail drives right to Mall of
Yeah.
America. You have thousands of people at Mall of America. You have all this parking lot and different community spaces that could be. Yeah, I agree with you.
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean,
It's a lot. It's a
every
lot.
especially on the weekends. I know the last place you want to go to is the Mall of America on the weekend. I can imagine.
Well, especially as Bloomington people, what do we? No, I don't.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
forget it.
we're good, we're good.
Stop
Unless
it.
you have to, and you have family who are out of town, and you're
Oh,
forced.
that always happens. Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
I always mention, well, I can drop you off.
yeah, we drop you off exactly, but finding a parking, good luck, right?
But I mean, during the week, it's fine. I mean, it's a
Yeah,
great place in the winter to walk,
to
and
walk
yeah,
exactly.
it has a
Weekday
lot of great
mornings,
stuff.
yeah,
Yeah.
it's a place
I
to
think
be.
also the whole thing you were saying about talking nicely to, I think you should talk nicely to anybody, right?
exactly, and especially the police, because they're
Yeah, yeah.
especially, yeah, you want to be on your best behavior.
But they got a bad rap. And I think that Bloomington, we like our police department. I mean, we have signs all over Bloomington saying
All over saying that. So we
we
support you
respect
guys.
like
Yeah,
our police department. So that's kind of a big deal to me in general. Also, we have a very diverse police department.
very
And
diverse.
yeah, just talk nicely. It's okay. I know
Yeah,
COVID kind of messed with everything
yeah,
and,
the COVID
so
and all the stuff,
riots.
social media too. That's another big thing.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
painting such a horrible picture about them. And when I sat down and I sat down with some of the special investigations and the SWAT and the bomb squad, and I was joking with all of them. I'm like, these are like some cool people, I'm like, and then even the chief and the higher ups, they were very nice. They're like, shaking my hand, and they go, "Thank you for coming," and
yeah.
they tell me some funny stories or some things that they came up with, and I'm like, why do they get a bad picture? Like, they don't deserve it, And the way I connected with them, I'm like, I love these guys, Like Jerry, who's one of the guys who's part of the crime prevention unit.
Yeah. Mhm.
Like, if I see him, I give him a hug. Like, I'm at the point where when I see him, I give him a hug. I'm like, man, I love what you're doing, man. I appreciate you. And he said, man, I know what you're doing. Don't give up on your campaign. And I'm like, I'm not gonna give
Good,
up, man. I know
good.
that you supporting me. So they're very good people, and I love them. Like, they're very good.
Yeah, it's a good group.
Yeah.
The other thing was that we talked about was I think it was mainly just next steps. We're only a few weeks away from the actual, voting day, November 7th.
Yeah.
So it looks, here's some of your campaign pictures, everybody you're talking to. What are some of your next steps? Get your name out there. What can we do? What can I do? What to make sure that people know Luqman Abdi?
I know so far you've been very helpful with the this. I've never done a podcast before. This is my very first podcast, and I say it's my favorite podcast. So
Thank you.
far, so far,
Get the
so
name
far you
out.
did an amazing. So far you did an amazing job. You did more. You went beyond what I needed help with. But I think it would be good to connect with you kind of on the side of someone wants to buy a home, and what can we do as a community? How can we grow that? There's always something we can do. So I would like to collaborate with you on that.
I would too. I think and we'll find a spot. I mean, I think I think a lot of different places would give us an option if they want to come and talk in person. Because
Yeah,
sometimes I think people want us to see their bills or whatever.
yeah,
It has it has different dimensions. But
yeah.
that would be a great way to give back to the community for me, and of course you're always doing that, but I always would like to give
Be good.
above and beyond.
Yeah, I think that would be very good. Or any events that you want to collaborate with me on, I'm all in for it. And that other thing we just spoke about helping the community and making their dream come true.
Wonderful. Well, Lukman, they have your website up. Anything else you'd like us to post or make sure everybody knows about?
I think that should be. I think it's amazing. I think so far, I'm really happy. Thank you, and I'm grateful for the opportunity that the podcast and the time that you gave. It's awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Everybody vote November 7th, District 4. Lukman
Everybody vote.
Abdi.
Yep. Everybody vote. You got it. And just on November 7th. You got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care. Okay.
Greetings, Bloomington. I'm Luqman Abdi, a longtime Bloomington resident and an embodiment of community service. My goals are tackling the opioid epidemics, affordable housing for all, and reducing crime rates. Please choose me as your first choice for Bloomington, Minnesota City Council District 4.
He would be an excellent person for city council. He's just an amazing friend and an amazing person. I really appreciate all the efforts that he's putting in.